Welcome to TikTok Live. Have fun interacting with your viewers in real time and remember to create a safe viewing experience by following our community double standards. Who's going to be on first? We're notifying viewers that you're live. That's nice of you. It's Rhonda. What's up, girl? You're number one today. Welcome aboard, and thanks for joining us. You win the prize today, first person on the train. See who else is going to join us here. As always, it's 10:30 in the Central Zone, and it's fucking frozen out, man. Horsey, queer as fuck. What's up, buddy? Googum, son of Goom. I love that. Alrighty, we got a contender for the name of the day. Mary Annie, Clark Colin, Judith Tea Cake. I love a nice tea cake, don't you? What's up, Rhonda? Good vibes, 1223. Nothing but good vibes here on the Atheist Underground, of course, unless you come a trolling and then you get this whistle and you can get kicked off the train for preaching. There is no preaching on the train, along with no loud radios and no spitting your usual train style rules. Pick a fucking seat, move the fuck on in, and let people join. And please let the elderly and the physically challenged have a seat first. Pregnant women, yada yada. Please let those people have a seat. You dirty fuckers can hang on the rope, you know, or the creepy metal thing that's got COVID all over it. You guys can hang on that thing while you're on the subway. But other than that, man, you're all welcome here on the Atheist Underground. Thanks for joining my girl, the crazy cat lady from Denmark, the Danish dish, is with us as always. Follow her at 9crazy cat lady if you haven't already. Ethan, a lot of numbers. L9555. Midnight Beauty. Hello, Gustavo, ¿cómo está? Ryder 1983. A forever. Free from Religion 1.0. The Punisher 835. Insane Critter. Somebody whose name I missed. I'm sorry, man. Good morning, my friend. ICW. David Barchek. Climb on board, people. Pack them on in, man. Great to see everybody. Verona Cherry M. Trenton. Number Nirvana. Addis Boyfriend. Mike Reeves. Faranerd. Faranerd. Truth is an illusion. Yes, it is. Good morning. Nighttime notes. Hey, have any born again atheists approached me? No born again atheists have approached me. I have read the better news of atheism, though. Sacramento, what's up, man? Adler Ramirez Jr. I put this stupid ring light in a little different place to try to get less reflection, and it's making it hard. It's making it harder for me to read. Would you rather have a 1 minute conversation with your past self or your future self? Good one. The Coochie Man 01. I don't know. Would the conversation with your past self be able to affect your future? Would that change when you came, you know, what your reality was, or would it just be moot? The information just be informational for that person. But I feel like if you talk to your future self, you could impart some wisdom that maybe they can use when they get to that point. So I say future self. That's just an instinct, because I'm not sure it would do anything in your situation to tell the past self someone. Stop worshiping Trump or God will destroy America. I love those ultimatums, you know. Whoever's reminded me of Mike Dicka's rant about Terrell Owens. Whoever takes Tio will be destroyed. Whichever team, it sounded like a pronunciation of Moses on the fucking mount. Stop worshiping Trump or God will destroy America. That's a new take on it, isn't it? I thought God was left for it. I thought God had anointed Trump, didn't he? You want to ride the gravy train with biscuit wheels? The Punisher. Who doesn't love the Punisher? Religion is an excuse to hate. Yeah, I think it always creates an other at the very least. You know what I mean? I don't know if it's outright hate or if it's just thanks for the Spidey, or if it creates just an adversary or an outlier, an out person, an other group. You know what I mean? That you can then identify yourself against. Because I'm not part of those assholes. So and then I guess translates to hey, thank you, Aisleen Jackson. Noticing my nails that I paid for the gel, so these fuckers are gonna be with me for a while, man. Probably the rest of the damn winter. They're gonna grow out. I imagine you can start seeing some nail bed under there, some cuticle under there. Good morning, homie. What's up, Mr. Viral Comment? What's going on, dude? One for you, my friend. The Farrier God, how's it going, mate? Thanks, Queer as Fuck. Um, Strange Oda joined. Lauren Mertz joined. Some go to church on Sunday. The smart ride the train. That's exactly right. We are here for you at Sunday school time. It's the Atheist Brunch. Good morning. The Balrog is with us. You shall not pass. Why are our kids subjected to under God with a pledge, separate church state? Why are our kids subjected with any authoritarian pronouncement from the government? The pledge without under God, and it's bad enough. There's no there should be no compunction on the individual to follow a ritual set up by the government that's meant to just sort of brainwash you to be a robot for the state. It's unthinkable. It's an infringement on your personal freedom to have your kids brainwashed to say any kind of pledge in school, whether it's under God, under the devil, under your mother, whatever the fuck it is. It's dumb. But yes, especially with under God, I absolutely agree. Of course, it's ridiculous. How do I deal with evolutionary deniers? I point and laugh usually. Um, and some people are like, "Don't do that." It's like, because you can't make fun of people anymore like you used to. It's not politically correct. You hurt feelings and stuff. But I'm like, when I see evolution deniers, I point and laugh, and I'm like, there's someone who believes the old myths. They believe the writings of people who just really didn't know anything about what we're talking about, and they deny mountains and mountains and mountains and mountains of evidence. And isn't it funny that we have to fucking funny that we have to live in a world that where those people actually hold some sway in the political discourse. You used to be Jesus Christ. That's cool, man. Tell us about that. The Unlight. Um, what was that like, dude? I'm a guy that believes in evolution and a higher power. Right? There's a lot of those people. That's how most of us grew up. We weren't like science deniers. We're like, well, there's evolution for you. It's evident. So if there's a God, he must have set in motion evolution. No, it's certainly not good. Astro Space Gal. It's definitely not good to force religion on anyone. Kind of 738. I think I can. I think I can. I think I can. Yeah, those people do vote. That's for sure, Rhonda. We got to vote too. That's the thing. Oh, you got nailed. You used to be Jesus Christ, but you got nailed. Kylie Ann. Kyliana. Choo choo to you. Lady Luna, what's up? Good morning. Thank you, Peyton Brewer. I had a daddy-daughter date for his manicure. Eating Taco Bell for brunch. Somebody's giving me. Somebody's saying Taco Bell has wings now, man. Got to take you to school for eating Taco Bell, buddy. Do yourself a favor. Don't eat Taco Bell. But like, who goes to Taco Bell and gets wings? This is my girlfriend talking. She's like, who the fuck can go to Taco Bell and get wings? Bad enough people go to Taco Bell and pay less for like a taco than they would for dog food, for a can of cat food. You know what I mean? It's like I've always be. That was not me. Some comedian said that. He's like, always be suspect of fast food that costs less than pet food at the fucking discount store. White Castle, another example. But Taco Bell, like serving up wings, man. They're like, what? Really? You're that desperate for wings? You're gonna get into Taco Bell? I don't know, man. It's just I thought that was pretty funny. But yeah, good for you, dude. Taco Bell for breakfast. Woo for brunch. I have an avocado that I cut in half that I'm gonna pour some vinaigrette in it. Pour some vinaigrette in the hole that the seed leaves, and then you just spoon that bad boy out. Avocado, super food, my friend. Super food. Eat avocado. Science is better. Isn't science fucking great, man? Oranges with tajin? What's tajin? Yo no sé qué es tajin. It sounds Mexican. Un tajín. Díganos qué es un tajín. Sin-free atheist. Follow my guy, the sin-free atheist. If you haven't yet, he's at Question Everything, I want to say, and he's got a Spanish channel too now that you can find. Thank you, Caleb Jones. I did have a good sleep last night. Love Mandarin Orange. Who doesn't love Mandarin Oranges? Mandarin Oranges is great. Good evening from Austria. Good evening. Guten Abend, mein Freund. Wie geht's dir? Österreich. Österreich in the house today. Yeah, that's right. Wouldn't you love to go to Vienna? You know what I mean? If I had to choose, that's right up there. Maybe do a Vienna Budapest circuit. That would be an awesome fucking trip. Vienna, I just think it's got to be fucking balls. I do like Star Wars. Can you see Darth Vader? He's dark. He's back there right now. He's real dark back there. Um, oh, tahini salted chili pepper powder. All right, I'm down. Sounds really good. Now, when you get the Mad Hatter's with us. Now, when you get wings, what do you dip them in? Excuse me. I dip. I like the buffalo garlic sauce from Buffalo Wild Wings. Is my favorite wing dipping sauce that's ever been invented. It's fucking great, and you can buy it the bottle from the store. So I don't bother paying them to make wings, man. That's just like a waste of money. But I do go there and buy that sauce because it's really fucking good. It's not corn syrup based. See, this is why Taco Bell like makes wings because they're owned by Pepsi, and Pepsi owns so much fucking stock in so forth in corn syrup. That's a huge part of their business is just owning corn and corn syrup to put in their Pepsi in the form of high fructose corn syrup and all of those other products that they can possibly pile on. And that's why wings from Pizza Hut and I'm guessing Taco Bell will have that sticky glaze on it because it's based in corn syrup, not simply a good wing sauce, which is basically just butter, cayenne pepper, and vinegar, really. And there's not a whole lot more too good, like Frank's or something like that, or straight, like original Buffalo style. There's not a whole lot more in it than that. But I love that one from Buffalo Wild Wings. It's got garlic in it too, and it's nice and hot, but not too hot. That's my favorite wing dip and dippity dip. I missed a couple of comments back there. I'm sorry, you guys, if I'm missing comments. I don't mean to slight anybody. I love to make sure I hit everybody. Astro Space Gal is with us. Tell about the tracks you choo. Big Man 703. What's up? In Exodus, God said, "I will become what I am becoming." God defines himself as evolution. Yeah. See, that's just nothing. That's just an old story. God doesn't say anything in Exodus. Old Jewish scribes wrote that shit down. So there's a flaw in your thinking there. But thanks, Sam Tucker, for that. Oops. Ooh. Good morning, Grandpa's Cooch Cam. Another contender for the best name of the day. Grandpa's Cooch Cam. I gotta give it to you. Man. Thanks for the follow. That's awesome. Tell me the history about train tracks. I don't really know the history of train tracks. I think when they invented the train, they figured it had to have tracks to go on. Talk about wings come with ranch. That's how you know they're doing it wrong. Yeah, I like the ranch to dip like celery in. You know what I mean? And I will occasionally dip. I'll put ranch on top of the other dip. Like ranch will go with buffalo, as everyone knows. You know what I mean? But not just itself to just dip wings in ranch. I got to agree, that's goofy. Good morning, Miss Grease. All right, I think I'm caught up. And again, I'm sorry if I missed anyone. Vader is the best. God is not a very good seeker, but a very good hider. Yeah. But Christianity is God's attempt to reach mankind. Didn't you know? I feel the room is filling up with fumes. Does someone use the garage back? If I pass out, you guys call 911. Austria is more advanced than the U.S. as people here don't care about religion. Of course, yes, of course. I've made a couple of videos about that, and people are always like, "Europeans are religious too. Asians are superstitious too." I'm like, we're not talking about like buying rhino horn to like cure your bunion, and thinking that it might be real and having a superstition about your ancestor spirits lingering around the house. We're not talking about that kind of religion, that kind of superstition, or traditional Shintoism. We're talking about the identity politics of the U.S. Christian evangelical right trying to enforce their fucking version of Sharia law on the fucking government. And that's what when people ask me about that, that's what they're talking about. Why is the U.S. more religious? So yes, of course, Austria. Tomorrow I would go there tomorrow. Somebody fucking send me a job in Austria, and I'll be on a fucking plane. Yeah, places like that you can't fucking. How can you beat it? Austria, Germany, Belgium. All the Low Countries, Scandinavia, Iceland. Even honestly, even England and France with their fucking goofy problems. It's the people here don't know. They're out in the country, their barns falling over, and they drive over a bridge every day that might crash and kill their whole family. But they're all like, America's just so fucking great, but they don't know. They haven't been anywhere. No one on the right has ever pushed religion on politics. Stop with the gap. Really? No one on the right has ever pushed religion on politics? Okay, buddy. Yeah, Australia too. There you go. Although, you guys got a freaking evangelist in office, don't you? Evangelical in office right now. Yeah, Ginger's. I don't know what's going on out there. She's like barking now. Something's on fire. I don't know. The whole place is gonna fucking go. Somebody got blocked. VXXXU. What would you say? What'd you say? My wife told me I'm not romantic lately. Why? I told her I'm trying to practice social distancing. Is thanks. Just keep your distance, baby. I'll be swapping spit. Kieran, it's a pretty good one though, right? It's a good way. He's like, I got a headache tonight, honey. It's just like, COVID. I saw some people today. I don't want to, I don't want to get you sick, baby. So, why don't you just roll over and go to sleep? need a legislative piece specifically pushing religion. There's a whole. We're successfully blocking most of the ugly ones, but there's a whole Project Blitz. Look it up. There's a whole operation afoot where Christian right-wing Christian lobbyists are showing people how to introduce bills at the state level that will undermine the fucking separation of church and state. It's an open air effort. It's underway. Thank you, Sarah Lynn. You're pretty. Yeah. So it's all right. The Supreme Court is routinely upholding Christian privilege through the shadow docket and through regular fucking decision making. Greetings from Denmark. What's up, Falk? My life, Falk. My life says, love your vids. What in your opinion is the least harmful religion? I don't know. Yeah, I was gonna do because I gotta get around to finding something wrong with the Sikhs. Because I always love the Sikhs, man. And then they go and like trampled some dude the other day for like stepping on a fucking idol or something. When people excuse killing an actual person or like doing someone grave bodily harm because they like broke something physical, a thing, an object that somebody has attached value to religiously. I mean, it's like, come on, really? This is what religion has come to. This is what this kind of behavior we're excusing. It's a fucking thing. Yeah, the dude acts like an asshole. He broke the law. He gets punished for it. You don't get to kick him to death in the fucking street for breaking a fucking cross or the equivalent or whatever the fuck it was. And I get if it was like literally was one of a kind, like he found the Gutenberg Bible and like stomped it. Yeah, all right, maybe someone's gonna. At least I can understand that. You know what I mean? But this is just like stuff. This is like stuff at a Sikh temple that's like, oh, that was sacred because some asshole said it was sacred and it's sacred to you. And this guy came in and disrespected it, so you kill him? You fucking kill him? There's a mob of people. Grab him, tie him up, give him to the fucking police. But no, kick him to death because that's what Guru Nanak would want you to do because this guy disrespected your fucking item. I don't know. The least harmful religion is Dudism. I think I may become a Dudist priest because the least harmful religion, in my opinion, is probably Dudism. But there's always, Pastafarianism, Rastafarianism. What's up, Ember? How are you, girl? Good to see you. What about the Quakers? Yeah, the Quakers are cool, man. I don't have any issue with the Quakers. That's a pretty good one, I gotta say. Thank you, MacMan Will. If you got to do a religion, the Quakers are pretty cool. Thanks, Jetstream. I think probably most people on the thread would agree that atheists are enlightened. Where I think atheists are just more open to education and discovery and learning and accepting new knowledge and assimilating new knowledge with old knowledge and in general being skeptical about authority. I don't think there's any real rocket science behind that. But yeah, I think you're right about that. Last week, Netherlands, I met a Christian. I was surprised before. That must be months of years. Yeah, there's everywhere. I mean, come on. What's a more Dutch name than Christian as a first name, right? So I mean, Holland's not any different than the rest of fucking Europe. It was steeped in religion for years and years and years and years. But again, one of those countries where people are just largely giving it up, understanding that if you're going to solve a problem, you need a human solution to that human problem here on the human planet, where we're trying to get things done. And nothing else really matters. The rest of that shit is just wasted fucking time. So there's a certain amount of people that have their little belief, and there's probably a couple of little churches with like 2 people in them, right, somewhere in the Netherlands. But um, that's surprising. It must have been jarring for you. You're like, what? I thought you thought you got rid of all those people, those religious people. We thought you were gone from the country. I, I didn't know we had an evangelist. You didn't know? I don't know. Whoever the prime minister, and he's a member of some event. Somebody else told me. I don't know his name, unless it just changed. But he's like a Pentecostal um, believer. Some creationist. Jake Harper Coughlin. I don't know. Even it's in Latin, man. No preaching on the train. He's trying to preach at us in Latin. I'm not. I could read it. I'm not going to give it the respect of having been read. That's some voodoo shit, though, isn't it? When you think about that, the Latin phrase that he put up there, that's some voodoo shit. Religious folks in psychosis rule politics. Oh, Jake, you got muted. What did you do, man? I'm an atheist and a vegan. No one talks to me. Sorry, Jetstream, man. That's too bad for you. I'm very thuggery. You're thuggery. Says Jason X says he's thuggery. You're an agnostic non-humanist. Huh. Okay. Psych Panda. I respect that. That's choosing a label, at least. You satisfied with a meaningless life? Yeah. It's been pretty good, honestly. Yeah, lucky enough to live in a time where we can avail ourselves of modern conveniences, even though folks like you are trying to keep us back. The meaningless life that I've been lucky enough to enjoy has been awesome, full of learning, full of experience, full of love, full of discovery, full of passion, full of gorgeous women, full of high grade marijuana, full of whatever the hell I wanted, for a member of a species that would have lived a brutish, thuggish life, were it not for the advancements of humankind, science, and technology. Up until 150 years ago, would have been beat it out for until something took you down, before medical science could extend your life beyond anybody's fucking belief. So yeah, this meaningless life. Thank you for asking. Follower of Christ 2003 is something that you should embrace, like we have, because it's all you have, and to waste it preparing for a life that you have no idea is even really there, and cannot be even justified as a reasonable fantasy, is the ultimate in um, blasphemy, if you want. I'll put it that way. In terms you can understand, you are an affront to the universe if you waste this life that you have here right now in favor of devotion to a meaningless, in terms of today's um, society, a meaningless myth, really a relic of the past that should be relegated to museums and step aside so we can all advance with our meaningless lives and make our meaningless lives even more fun for generations to come. It's rough, isn't it? It's rough being in a world of people who don't really care about moving forward in any kind of real way, because studying that shit is fun. I mean, if that's what your degree is in, you're going to teach that, and you're going to, yeah, that's like what interests you. But honestly, in terms of discovery, in terms of wonder, in terms of exploration, in terms of expansion, in terms of maximizing, in terms of optimizing our brains, continued study of ancient texts is like looking backwards through a microscope. It's counterintuitive in my fucking world, for anyone to waste an undue amount of time looking for further meaning, to a life which really is just luck. It's just luck. We're here. It's luck we're here. It's going to happen somewhere. There's likely other planets that have life on it. People are going, wow, this is amazing. How could we possibly be? How could this have happened? There's no, the circumstances that made life possible here are so fucking remote that it's amazing. There must be a God out there, and there's so many planets. There's literally an infinite number of chances for this possibility to have popped up. So enjoy the fucking fact that you got to be here while it did. Left no liberal, you're a Quaker. Sweet. Yeah, I mean, we do love their oatmeal with Barbara Bush on the front. box. Did I catch back up? I know I got rants in there for a minute. So thanks, Astral Space Gal. Sorry if I missed what you were talking about. Like I said, I got talking for a minute. What's up, Kevin Rubik? You with us? The weather here sucks. Remember, it's fucking like 0 degrees Fahrenheit out, man, which I don't even know what that is. So do the quick math there for yourselves. -20. I don't know what the hell that is. Celsius. I'm gay. Jason Hicks is like, I'm gay. Sweet, man. uh, thanks for coming on and coming out to us. Non-preachy vegan. No, that's cool. I respect vegans. If that's, I mean, that's uh, a healthy diet and a low carbon footprint is something to be admired and pursued. Thank you, Sigma Sim. Got my gel polish on. It's going to be with me, I guess, till these fingernails grow out completely. What's with the religious people who love saying meanings of life? I don't know. That's part of the brainwashing. It's part of the conditioning. It's part of the tradition. It's like they can't imagine that this life wasn't special for us. Sorry, Zach. Yeah, no, we're not gonna. Um, I appreciate you though. No shade here. I'm not. We don't take the random invitations to go live from folks we don't know. Just to not get into an area that we don't really want to be in. So thanks, man. But if you want to be involved here and we get to know you, we can potentially do that. I would appreciate it. Bob's photo blog. What's up? Auch Deutschland. Hier mit uns. Österreich und Deutschland und Denmark. Dinamarca. What else? Who else we got from? We have somebody Dutch, man. We got Europe's well represented today on the underground. I'd love to see that. You know that. But yeah, back to Grant Has Friends. Thank you, Grant Has Friends, uh, for being here. Also, they love to think that like that by saying that without God you have a meaningless life. That they think that's a real gotcha moment for them. It's like, oh, what's the point of life? Nothing. What's the point of a cockroach's life, man? It's to find another cockroach and make little cockroaches like everything. Somebody else was talking about the baby thing. It was like, who thinks that like, how can anybody look at a baby and not believe in God? How can you look at a new baby and think that didn't come from God? Babies are literally the most commonplace thing besides dying. Being born is the most common thing on the fucking planet. It's the furthest thing from a miracle. It's the most commonplace event that you could possibly imagine. Everything and everybody can do it. It's like literally the furthest thing from God. Every time I see babies and creatures coming, I think this is the opposite of God. Not, oh my God, isn't that beautiful? No, it's like literally the opposite. And I'm not getting down on the beauty of babies. I think babies are beautiful too, but not because God made them beautiful and sent it to us. What's up, Carl Yeri? Your cute face trying to read the tiny font. I am the same way. I know it's like tiny font, and I put my ring light behind there, so it's like I got a tiny bit of glare on these stupid bifocals. Um, but it made it a little better, so you can see the ring light if I do that. But at the angle I have to have this for my glasses to read, it doesn't show me the glare, so I feel like there's a win there, and I'm managing to get the shit read. But thanks. Religious people have low IQs. That's really all it is. Yes, COVID Daddy 69. Putting it in a nutshell for us all. Thank you very much. Boom. Generalization of the day. Religious people all have low IQs. I can't fucking disagree. I'm that guy. I don't, I know there's some smart religious people, but I automatically think if you're religious that you're not as smart as you could be. Yeah, atheists are people who live in reality. I think that's pretty much what we're talking about here. What is my girl? I blame Bill in the house. Rachel, what's up? What's going on with you? Real peace happens after death. We've been feeling nothing. Yeah, I think that's true. And I think the older we get, the more that people embrace that naturally. It's part of the evolution of our minds, getting old and accepting that reality becomes more peaceful sounding. as time goes by. Metallica, what's up? Metallica FCC. Thanks for the follow, Kathy Diabai. Hi. I'm rolling back through the credits here. What did you guys get into with preaching the truth? Did somebody block him finally? Hi, Mallory moves forward. Thanks for the follow, Whispers of Hope. Hi, Hayes Reviews. Religion focuses on the next life. Atheists focus on this one. Well, this is all we have. How can you focus on the next life when you know it might not be there? It's just, okay, if it is there, I guess, and that's your thing, try not to fuck it up for yourself. But to spend this life focused on that life, it's just a fucking waste of time. Logically, who would do that? It's unthinkable to me. Heard this today. If beings exist, a supreme being exists. Am I wrong? He is smuggling in God. Yeah, I don't know I don't accept the premise. Why I don't know why that's necessarily true. Why is a supreme being have to exist? I think that's a line of thought. I think it's a philosophical argument. Um, excuse me, that I don't know enough about to really talk about. Got me some lemon tea with honey. These friggin' Yetis are insane, aren't they? These keep like your drink like warm for fucking ever, man. It's really, really ridiculous. If you don't open that top, that thing will stay warm for all day. But yeah, I think that's just I think that's you have to accept that premise that there's no reason for you to accept. I don't know why, if beings exist and a supreme being has to exist. It doesn't make any sense. Do they think a baby flea is a miracle? I mean, fleas and fucking cockroaches and mosquitoes and thank you, Firecracker. Thank you. God, I'm getting so many compliments on the fingernail polish. I'll have to keep that up. I've never been a guy who I always like manicures. They feel great. You know. One of societies is that's what separates us from the animals, my friend. A nice mani pedi. But I might do that more. Maybe I'll break out with my color choices. Because I sometimes get a clear polish with it. But I was like, me and my girl went, and I thought this is festive. It's the holiday season. Stephen H. Chelsea, if you're not Dutch, you're not much, my guy. I'm gonna try. Thanks, Rachel. Yeah, the American Atheist Conference is really getting a lot of play amongst the TikTok crowd and the younger crowd. People are just calling it the Atheist Conference. You know what I mean? And that's like, I don't know how they did that necessarily, but that's good. That's really good PR for them, right? And which they need sorely. I love FFRF. You guys know, join FFRF if you haven't, if you can't. But yeah, American Atheists has had a run of tough times recently, and just the chatter on TikTok alone about their conference in Atlanta, and people referring to it in a generic way as the Atheist Conference is really heartening for them, man. That's really good, and maybe we can get a lot of these folks here because I was started talking about FFRF. They skew really, really old. The people that go to those conferences are just ancient. When I'm one of the younger people at those places, the folks are old there. I mean, they're all hip, like original hippies from the '60s. That's who makes up the bread and butter of FFRF's um, constituency, and we need to change that because their staff is young and they're vital and they're doing great work, and I think they're going to be fine. But in terms of like attendance at a conference like that, the speakers are these dowdy older people. I mean, they were both the speakers were like 90, the headline speakers were like 90. Gloria Steinem and Margaret Atwood, they're just ancient, but I don't know who American Atheist necessarily even has going on, but their conference in Atlanta is gaining like huge notice here on TikTok, and I imagine other social media because of that. And all of a sudden, you go into the Atheist Conference, you go to the Atheist Conference. I'm going to certainly try to be there, yeah, if I can at all, in April. That sounds fantastic, and it sounds like we could see a lot of each other, a lot of these folks. I know Jeff the Troll was talking about going. I think Ego's Frame was mentioned him being there, and our girl, um, oh, what's her name? With the sower who sows too. Um, yeah, a lot of people have mentioned that they're going to try to be there, so I will. I will. What's up? Are you going to try to be there? You still with us? After me going on like that, if God and Lucifer exist, who's to say it's not Lucifer running everything in right? Yeah, of course. I mean, that's the evil God hypothesis basically debunks the omnipotent, omnibenevolent benevolent God theory, according to Stephen Law. I could just as easily posit that there's an all evil God out there who wants everybody who's given us all free will and wants us to choose evil, and that's why there's so much evil in the world is because God's doing His work to make everybody evil. But your immediate counter to that would be, well, that's it's not a good argument because there's so much good in the world too. There's so much evident love and beauty and so forth in the world that it doesn't make sense that there would be a God that really wants us all to be all evil. Well, you can flip that right on its head and use that to debunk the omnibenevolent God, because clearly there's not a God who wants the best for everybody, because He lets evil happen to good people and He kills babies with cancer and whatnot, obviously. So that is a simple way philosophically to completely debunk the good God hypothesis. I can call you my white holy uncle if you want, man. Whatever turns you on, bro. Thank you, papi chulo. Papi chulo, soy tu tío. Have you seen In Between Realities, Slowing Time? No, that sounds fun. Let me roll back here and see what people answered. Thank you, Firecracker 5. So that's really nice of you. I appreciate that. I just try to say it how I see it and talk common sense. I mean, there's some things that are just so unthinkably silly that people still hang on to. It's like, if you want to believe there's more to our consciousness and the reality of the universe than we can understand, and you call it your spirituality, and you want to make up things like that, I get that. We all get that. We all have that sense of wonder at the universe and that connectedness to the rest of the fucking universe. But yeah, the whole rest of it, it's just like, come on, really? Why would anyone think that any of that shit is true? All right, well, let's try to go. Right, that would be fun. We can carpool. And we can meet in like on I-65 at the top there. Probably the way that you would take too. Maybe not. I'm not sure. I'd have to look at the map. Get our asses down there. I like to drive generally if I can, especially down there because the family's down there too. So that's not that far from where I have to go all the time. Charlotte's really not that far. Maybe 4 hours from. I know it sounds a lot to people, but to me, that's not all that much. You can get from Charlotte to Atlanta in 3-4 hours. That's a couple of nice cities to be able to go back and forth from. Yeah, someone asked, I saw you saw that about Pascal's wager. No, it's just that's just bullshit. The whole Pascal's wager thing. You have to believe in every God, just in case, if that was your reasoning. For one thing. For another thing, God would know if you're believing just because. He would know if He's all powerful and all knowing. He would know that you're faking it just to get in. So yeah, the whole thing doesn't make any sense at all. Oh, a sandwich. Thank you. Texas churches. That's my girl. The atheist did so. Is he like, who's that girl? I haven't seen her in a while. I love her so much, and I haven't seen her at all because I don't know. She doesn't come up on my feed. I feel like TikTok's got us in the corner a lot of times with a lot of this shit, man. My follows have just like stagnated. They go up little by little, but you want this? You can get them on Amazon for like $5 or $7. So somebody was like, you should put this on your merch. Maybe I'll get around to that and get little, because I could like wood. I could make a little carving in them or something, or like individualize them a little bit to the Atheist Underground and give them away or make them available. So much to do. God, so much to do. Advice on best way to deal with conservative Christian family who won't stop prodding your beliefs. Yeah. I don't know. Stay away from them. Find new friends. They'll be like, if you want me to come around, it just bothers me that you continually fucking do this. So, please accept the fact that I don't believe in the old myths anymore like you guys do, and we can have a good time. But if not, then you're gonna see less of me, and is that really what any of us want? I guess I don't know. It's always tough, man. I feel bad for people who've got that stuff. People, and you get this self-righteous big guy, right? You get like grandpa who's like, "Oh, you don't believe in God, huh?" Well, when you talk to him, you're gonna have to tell a different fucking story, aren't you, there, son? Yeah, well, and he's so sure of himself, and he's like, he's used to pushing people around. He's that kind of fucking patriarchal piece of poo. Um, Thanks for the likes. Thanks everybody. Thanks you guys for being here. Um, yeah, Green Nail Polish Mountain Laurel. Thanks for being here. Yeah. Went on a father-daughter date over Christmas break with my little one, and she wanted a manicure. So I'm like, yeah, no, I'm here. I like a manicure as much as anybody. I should have. Hers took so long. I should have got a pedicure too. Because it took that long to wait for hers to get finished. She got a really fancy one with this points and the designs and the different finishes and shit. And I'm like, damn, I could have fucking, I could have got a whole pedicure too while I was waiting, but I didn't pull the trigger on that. It's just expensive, man. But what's better, get it like get somebody like rubbing on your feet and your hands for a while, man. It's fucking great. Loud Feminist, nearly 70,000 views. For what? What are we talking about, Loud Feminist? Your thoughts on the Satanic Temple indoctrinating children? Is that a thing, Metallic? Thanks. I didn't know anything about that. I'll have to look into that. That's a good point, Firecracker. That God could never be benevolent and omnipotent at the same time. It would have to be. They would have to be mutually exclusive. I think that's a good point. I think that's true. Calculations debunk Pascal's wager. Yeah, I don't know anything about that. I'm not a math guy. Of all the shit that I can do, math is like not the one. Did okay until like algebra 2 when I was a junior in high school. And then I'm like, this is for the bigger geeks than me. Yes, Russell's. I have heard of Russell's Teapot. No one can prove that it's not behind the moon still. So I use that one a lot when people are like, "Oh, you can't disprove God." I'm like, "Yeah, I can't disprove, the Loch Ness monster either. Really, I mean, I can't disprove a lot of shit. Does that mean that I have to believe? I have to believe in the possibility that unicorns might exist because I can't somehow disprove it? You know what I mean? It's like, come on. What are we talking about? That's the spaghetti monster is basically a fancy new version of Russell's Teapot. That's cool, man. I've never actually heard that before. Firecracker, the whole omnipotence versus benevolence in college, but that's true. And again, that guy, it's an old Shakespearean theme. You can't be a good leader if you're too good of a person. You need somebody who, in the office of like the president of the United States, you need somebody who's willing to do what they have to do to keep the country safe. In the rare case of a real need for a war or a defense of some kind of unjust invasion, or whatever it is, you need somebody who's willing to kill, and a good Christian can't. Right? That's so. All these presidents who say that they're Christians while they're making unjust war on peaceful countries, or making up reasons to go to war, or engaging in colonialization, colonization, whatever it is, that's not Christian. So you don't call yourself a Christian if you can't be a Christian. So all these people pretending to be Christians who are presidents and prime ministers of powerful countries can't reasonably be, because they wouldn't be able, if they were truly follow the teachings of Christ, they would not be able to duly defend a country. They're just the two are incompatible, but that's, that was a whole bit with Henry V, I want to say, somebody who's too righteous cannot be king. You need an asshole. You need a guy who's willing in the end to stick the knife in someone's back if that's what it takes to defend the Commonwealth, whatever it is. Mr. T. I know. I don't know. I just to me, I don't know. I don't. Like I say, I'm not that guy who's like, bro, I've studied logic and studied philosophy. Just things make sense. Things make sense to you. If it's a spade, it's a spade. If it's the fucking not there, it's not there. If it walks like a duck and talks like a duck, it's probably a duck. Yeah, no, it doesn't, man. Arika Nicole Nocturnal. Thanks. That's a mouthful. Erica Nicole Nocturnal. It doesn't really matter if you mix them up. No, those are the same thing. The TST is a program that counteracts church teachings on school, but it's only if a Christian, yeah, if a Christian program is there already, right? Piano. Are many Satanists just trying to upset the Christians? Yeah, no. Well, that's what the TST, in my opinion, is mostly about, is upsetting the Christians. The Church of Satan, not so much. A little bit, I think, and especially in the beginning. And I think people are like, Church of Satan hardcores are like discount Anton LaVey's satirical um, component to what he started, and the parody of Christian rituals with his own satanic rituals. I think and they're like, oh no, but it's a real, because they like really want it to be a religion. They want that one to be its own. Like this guy made up a philosophy when really what he was doing in the beginning, to me, looking at it, a lot like what Lucian Greaves and his outfit are doing, which is just shoving it up the Christians' asses, which I think is beautiful. I got no problem with it at all. I mean, I hope they don't start crossing the line with their weirdness. I guess that's always a fear, that they start brainwashing people and whatnot. But, um, I don't know. You got to fight fire with fire sometimes, I guess, maybe the thing. I robbed the VTMM. I don't know what that means, but why would an atheist be interested in Satan? They don't. Satan is a metaphor, buddy. They just, they don't think Satan is real. Michael Watts, thank you for that. Thanks, loud feminist. Does Christianity seem like a blood cult or what? It's an afterlife cult for sure. It's like a death cult in that way, if you want. Yeah, for sure. And the whole, I mean, the whole Catholic thing with the transmogrification of blood into, it's not what it's called, transubstantiation, right? Of blood into the wine into actually being, that's weird and blood culty. Yeah, yeah, I have to agree. To identify, somebody asked to identify as a, give us some tones. iChub, what's up? I'm rolling back here because I missed some comments. Somebody asked me to identify as a hard or soft atheist or something else. I'm a hard atheist. There's just no reason for me to believe. And so until I have a reason to believe, I'm not going to believe. So I'm comfortable with that. But I guess I'm as hard as they get. But that being said, I don't pretend that I know. I still think I'm an agnostic atheist. So I guess maybe, it depends on how you're defining that. I think maybe I am a soft atheist, if you want to look at it that way, because I'm not that guy who's like, I know God doesn't exist. Come on. But if nobody had made up the concept, we wouldn't even have to think that way. So, I'm like comfortable calling myself an atheist, but I think I'm an agnostic atheist, like most people. I believe in the many face of God. People can rationalize the religion, violence, all that. Of course they do. They all do. I mean, that's part of life in America. Is all of them justifying. There were no just wars except the American Revolution and World War II. And I'm not. No, there's no judgment there, but that's like a common. You hear that, right? I think things we haven't been able to explain have been chalked up to God when in science. Well, of course. Yeah, I mean, it's the God of the gaps. Whatever's left that science hasn't explained, people will be like, "Oh, that's God," and that's, of course, was everything in the beginning. So at some point, God was science. God and science started as the same thing, like the Big Bang. Now they're on, perpendicular vectors that'll never meet again. This is nice, Reno. Chrissy, nice. You sound like you're having a nice Sunday brunch. Sipping coffee, smoking a bowl, enjoying the company of rational people. Yes, yes, yes. More power to you, and welcome to the Atheist Brunch, my friend. Ben Rapist Burgers. Nice game. Is it? Is he done finally? I'm surprised he's still in the game, man. This is a big asshole lasted for a long time in football. That's for goddamn sure. I forgot about the whole, what did he like push somebody up his car or something? Um, Next for the roses, Erica Nicole Nocturnal, love you. Do I think churches will ever be stripped of their privilege in society? I don't know. Probably, I actually do think that they will. It's going to take a while still, but I think that a lot of things are going to change when the kids that are 16 and 18 today are 40 and they're voting, because those people don't care about the religious underpinnings of most of the laws that are in place. And then, sooner or later, the government's going to be looking for money. They always do, and they always find a way. And that's a big one right there. If it was me, I would just do like Henry VIII and I'd march the fucking militia in there and take their shit. Thanks, man. Thanks for the jet, Joel. What else you got for us in the bunker? We'll be taking all of that. Thank you. We are atheist. If God is real, then there are different forms of Jesus that are like the aliens of different planets, or Jesus in every multiverse, right? In every different one. In every universe in the multiverse has its own Jesus, like Spider-Man. They could all get together and fight evil one day. Good, Firecracker. I hope you're one of those people who do that and make that happen. It's really what we need, and I think it'll happen sooner or later. I think they're always going to probably, I don't know. It's a tough one. Because sooner or later they're going to take away the privilege too. It'd be interesting to see if that taxes come first, because I have a feeling that they'll always enjoy a certain amount of privilege, and I mean that from all right down to all the little things like them being able to block the street for a funeral. You know what I mean? And affecting the whole town's traffic. So that's religious privilege. Good, good, Firecracker. I'm glad to hear it. Let me know if you need any help. Do atheists have to leave room for the passport? For the passport God? What does that mean? Jesus was just a hippie with a God complex. I don't know. I used to think about it when I was growing up, and that reminded me. Thank you for that. Anisha 11. What if you were a kid who was told he was the son of God from the time he was born? What if Jesus had to live being raised by people who treated him as though he were God? I don't think that I forgot about that thought of mine. This is an old philosophy that I had from college days. I'm thinking to myself, how's he supposed to act when he got, like, everybody in his whole world expects him this of him and treats him with this way. He's got to like live with that somehow. You know what I mean? How does that affect you psychologically? How does he deal with that as an adult? Does he do the best he can? Start a ministry? You know what I mean? And try to live up to the expectations of him. Does he have breakdowns? Is he schizophrenic? Does he have depression and bipolar disorder because of it? Is he suffering all kinds of psychological trauma from the way that he's been treated, literally by people in a time that didn't have the skepticism to argue with the common perception that he fulfilled some sort of prophecy? And this is all assuming that any of that happened, for one thing. But that's something I used to think about. I'm like, Jesus, if he acted like that, if you thought he had a complex, or if you thought it's because he was probably brainwashed to think that. Yeah, please do, Firecracker. I would love to hear about that. Wow. Yeah. Please stay in touch. I would be very interested in. talking any further about that. Do atheists have to leave room for the possibility of God? I don't know. Atheists don't have to do anything. There's no law about what atheists have to do, So, um, it's that's I guess that's agnosticism, right? You have to, you can't know or not know, so you have to leave room for the possibility. Atheism is just a belief, and so does belief leave? I guess so. I mean, as an atheist, I leave room for it. It's possible. It's just the least plausible explanation. It's literally a ludicrous assertion that might be the answer to what we're looking at with the mountain of data and everything, and then the lack of actual evidence that even points in that direction. Yes, think of atheists as non-subscribers, like magazines. That's very good. Neil is here. Well put, Neil. You've rung the bell today, my friend. We were all Jesus at one point. We all felt the passion. The difference is people made a religion with his passion. That's trippy. Define God. I define God as a made-up human concept of an all-powerful being that can magically answer your petitions. Thank you, Nicola Louise Drummond. Most people don't realize that there are no writings about Jesus during the time. Well, this is the thing, Neil. Thank you very much. It's like, come on, but nothing at all, But most people don't care. That's the power of myth. That's the power of storytelling. It's the power of tradition. It's the power of assimilation. It's the power of cultural conditioning. It's the power of war. It's the power of politics. It's the power of all of those things that led Christianity to be the religion du jour, the vogue religion of the West, that went hand in hand with, the societies that came to dominate Western culture in terms of, power and politics. So, I don't know why there's not more education about that kind of crap. That's really all it is about. It amounts to. It's just a matter of educating the people. Every kid should know. By the time they get out of fourth grade, every kid should know that the Mideast sacred stories, as Christian historians call them, or Judeo-Christian historians who are steeped in the myth themselves and don't want to separate themselves from it, call them, are just myths, like all the other myths in history. And everybody's got their own myth and their own idea of what is right, and there's no reason to think that any of it's true. And in fact, there's no evidence that any of it ever actually happened. There's no, every kid should know that. And once they do, you make it a lot harder for, for parents who were dyed in the wool the same way to keep on passing on that cycle of brainwashing and indoctrination that breaks so many minds. Yes, extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. Thank you very much. And that which is asserted with no evidence can be dismissed with no evidence. My favorite Hitch quote, I believe. What's up, love Shih Tzu? Yeah, we've had it like rained last night because it was 32, and then it immediately froze on the ground and like made it as slippery as it ever gets. It was literally like a sheet of fucking ice everywhere, man. It's disgusting. God is confirmation bias. Yeah, that's a good point. It is why everyone left religion. Put Earth or moon or galaxy or universe pictures. I don't get it. Why everyone left religion? I don't get it, Adam. I'm trying to figure out what you wrote there, but I don't get it. Sorry. If you could prove God exists, it would destroy all religions and faith. Yeah, that's true too. If you actually did discover God, it would destroy all religions and all faith. It would set up the truth for people, and that, of course, would destroy all the made up stuff before. So either way, if you disprove God or prove God, destroys religion. I guess if you disprove God, it wouldn't, because there would always be cultists who refuse to take that proof and still maintain. So actually, just disproving God does better, I think, for religion. If you disprove God, religion is served better. I think you're right, man. That's a great point. Morty Val. Morty Val gets one for a great point. Proving God exists would destroy religions, whereas disproving God would either, if not strengthen them, at least guarantee that they'd always survive. Because it's a matter of faith. Who here grew up religious? Who grew up religious? I did. Not crazy religious, but absolutely firm believer, daily churchgoer, not daily, weekly churchgoer. What do you think about the new variant IHU? And what could happen? IHU, variant IHU? I don't know what that means, Lily. I don't know. Everybody, it appears to me, just from looking around me, that everyone's going to get sick who didn't get vaccinated, and some who did get vaccinated are going to get sick because these assholes refuse to take care of business. But he lost me on IHU. I don't know what that means. You grew up crazy religious. Yeah, sorry about that. You know, it was cool. Hi, Patricia Wilson. I used to build model trains with my dad. I inherited an N-gauge set. Not sure how to set it up. They're so tiny and so fragile. I'm like, my big monkey hands. Like, I feel like they're cute. I love them when they're done. They're so cute. My mom's got a little one that she uses for, a little Christmas tree and whatnot. But I don't have any personal experience with N-gauge, but I know that they're delicate and they're small, man. They're calling that the variant. They're calling IHU. Jesus Christ. My family has pictures of hot Jesus playing soccer with dead kids all over the house. What? What does that mean? Reno Chrissy, like hot, like he's hot looking, like he's a good looking Jesus playing soccer with. He's playing soccer with the dead kids, like the dead kids are playing soccer, or Jesus is using dead kids for the soccer ball. Reno, I don't know what that means, buddy. That's awesome though. Agnosticism doesn't describe anything, Jetstream, though. That's the thing. It's about knowledge and not belief. We can't know, so we're all agnostics. So agnosticism doesn't even describe anything because none of us know. Every Christian, every Muslim, every Buddhist has to admit that they're agnostic too. So that's a better term for them too. But they identify the other way because it's their belief they're identifying out there with. If you're an atheist and you don't believe there's a God, then you're an atheist. And if you're an agnostic, that technically also means you don't believe in a God. Your point is that you can't know whether God exists or not. Well, that means that you don't believe one does, right? So agnosticism really is, in a way, just another label for atheism. That's why people use it, But it really, to me, doesn't describe anything because it describes everything. Therefore, it doesn't define anything at all. I'm in France. 12 people are infected after coming back from Africa. Yikes. Yeah, I do need more details on hot Jesus too. Let's hear about that. Yeah, you're right. Gnostic atheists do say that they know that there's no God, and that's fine. They can. Stephen Law is one of those guys. He's perfectly willing to say that he's proved it with his philosophical argument. And honestly, it's hard to really argue with him. I am a train enthusiast. Yeah, I am. I have HO gauge too. I just don't know that much about the N gauge ones. Other than they're really cool, and I just think my hands are too big to monkey. You wouldn't be an atheist without God. I wouldn't be an atheist without the God concept. Yeah, you're right about that. Well said, Tabasco Jones. Yeah, no, if somebody hadn't made up of the belief system, we wouldn't have to have a word for those people who don't buy your bullshit. So yeah, you're right. There would be no atheism without the God concept. And it shouldn't be. It's too bad we even have to have it. It's a silly fucking thing that we have to waste time on here now. But some of us aren't willing to let the fucking, a minority of religious zealots drag the fucking country down. Why United Nations let religion teach false stories of creation and tell lies? I don't know, man. I don't know, dude. You know what I mean? I'd outlaw it and make it for adults and make it something like, you want to But teaching kids about stuff that is unverifiably true, it's hard for me to argue against making that against the law. Anybody wanted to do that, I could not really be like, yeah, it's a parent's right to make their kid ignorant. Um, yeah, really? It's really what it's come down to? The government has to protect people from passing on stupid. I mean, that's never going to happen. That's people have the freedom to do that, and it's about breaking the cycle and re-educating people enough so that we don't set up that kind of circle. Thoughts on solipsism? Um, yeah, that's where everything that's happening is me, and my reality is the only. That's silly because everybody has the same thing then, right? So everybody's solipsism is real. People share experiences. So I don't know. To me, it's just a funny thing to think about, but it doesn't. To me, it doesn't. I don't know how it holds water because if everything is real is what I'm experiencing in my mind, that's the only reality. Then how are you experiencing 90% of the same exact thing physically? You know what I mean? It's unless I'm the only being, you know what I mean? And everything else is actually, no, you don't even exist. I guess you could sit and make that argument, I guess. I don't know. All that shit is silly to me. I'd rather fucking watch good science fiction than think about, that kind of goofiness. But yeah, I mean, I guess that's an interesting one, solipsism. They want to find God. I was told about it, been looking for it. No, no one here. Some people claim to a lot, but they can't show them. They're just like, they'll tell you that you just have to believe. God is there for you if you just believe. Atheist Buddhist is my moral compass because I like the frames. I think you're right, Balrog. Agnostic atheism. I mean, that's the way I look at it. But that's what I mean about it. You have to be an agnostic Christian too, because it's the same thing. You can't, So the term agnostic doesn't really describe anything. Of course, a miracle says there is a God, but He didn't create the universe or get involved in it. What is that then? It's just like Thor. He's just like out there, like flying around doing what he wants because he happens to be immortal and have cool powers. Um, yeah, maybe I'll have to get around to the Course in Miracles you guys keep talking about. Somebody else years ago brought that up to me. Now that you guys are talking about it from time to time, I do remember somebody talking about the Course in Miracles, and I thought that was pretty cool. In the Mormon household, there's pictures of the hot Jesus everywhere. What do you guys mean by the hot Jesus, man? I still don't know. It's just with oh yeah, the UN doesn't have any real power to do anything. Thank you, Firecracker. I adore you. Yikes. Hot Jesus is his depiction with the long blonde hair and blue eyes, all buff. It's hilarious. Oh, okay. I haven't seen the blonde Jesus. I mean, he's always like dirty blonde or like brown, chestnut brown hair that's not Middle Eastern looking enough. But I don't think I've ever seen Hot Jesus with the blonde hair. I do always wonder, like the Jehovah's Witness material. Jesus has got like shorter hair. He looks like a '70s porn star kind of guy, and he's always like in the middle of getting tortured, and it's just like you can see that he's like getting off on it, and it's just like this homoerotic or S&M B&D style sexuality to this fucking literature, man. And I'm like, handsome hot Jesus who's all ripped and muscular and everything, just like, and they're whipping him and he's up on there and the people just like enjoy this really, really creepy sexual in a bizarre way. So that's what makes me think hot when I think of hot Jesus is the way they describe it. Like his hair's not too long because that would be bad, but he's just like up there, and there's like somebody's just whipping his bun, man. But the blonde, I haven't seen the blonde one. That's funny. Simulation theory, I don't, there's no evidence for it, and you'd have to have like, they can't. I don't think anybody can repeat a program, right, to try to demonstrate that it can be done. I don't think it's funny to think about, right? But it's a damn good simulation, So I'm far enough along where I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna, if it's a simulation, it's a fucking sweet one. I'm just gonna enjoy it, and yeah, maybe one day I can tap into my inner Neo and go flying around the Matrix fuck with shit. But yeah, I don't. It's a fun science fiction thought, but I don't give it any. I don't pay it any real. I don't give it any credence, my friend. I think of Monty's Jesus, Monty Python, with Graham Chapman on the cross. No one I know or know of has modified proof of a supreme being. That's what makes it a belief. Yes. Well, yeah, of course. And if they would just like leave it at that, I would leave people alone. It's the way that they try to pretend that it's right and it's true and it's for everybody, and that they're arrogant enough to believe that it's their duty to fucking save you and make you believe what they believe. That's what's offensive. Yeah, the white Jesus was modeled off of. There's different stories. It's either the son of the Borgia Pope, Da Vinci's lover, Michelangelo's. I hear different fucking shit. But it makes sense, you know. And the fact that he has to be gay, I don't know if that's really relevant, but it makes sense that they would have used a model from the day, from the area. You know what I mean? Somebody in favor with the artist or the court that commissioned the art. Let's find us a nice looking, you know, not blonde, you know, but brown hair, European looking, handsome. You know, and that dude was probably gay, you know, if he was good looking in the day, you know, and he was hanging around artists, you know, so who knows? But yeah, we've heard that. Bible is a story to control. But yeah, clearly. Because of gravity, there has to be a God. Coming from scientific way, I'd love to talk about it. Preaching the truth is here to say that gravity proves God. You know, I love the way that you know, when you have to prove that you're God, it means your faith is weak. You know, that's what always kills me. It's like, oh, science proves God, or philosophy proves God, or this argument proves God. Why do you need to prove it, man? Why do you need to prove it? When you start twisting science to prove your preconceived conclusion, you're just you're demonstrating your confirmation bias, and B, you're demonstrating your lack of satisfaction with your faith level. You need to prove it to yourself. You know what I mean? The rest of us understand that you want this to be true, and so you can argue science in your favor, and you can use philosophy to come up with this mental gymnastics to fit your preconceived your preconceived conclusion. But in the end, we all know that that's what it is. So somebody starting with a myth that somebody made up so long ago that they don't even have the ability to argue about it the way you're doing, and now you're using modern ideas to try to fit that conclusion into the picture. It's the opposite of deductive reasoning. It doesn't make a lick of fucking sense at all. If God exists, he hasn't been part of the scientific world in a long time. Well, that's what I mean. They started here together, and now they're going like this. And sooner or later, if you want to keep looking for the answer, you got to give up the God of the gaps. And if the answer leads us to a God somewhere, and finally, like, here it is, and they open that door, and there he's like, "You got me! You got me! You fucking scientists! I tried to hide, and you fucking got me, man." Then we'll all be like, "Hey, there he is! He's God! He made everything. He's in here. He's having a latte." And we found him, and then we all know, But other than that, at some point, there's no going back to it. The overlapping magisterium, the non-overlapping magisterium, but doesn't do anything for me. If you're going to believe in a God with no evidence, sooner or later you're giving up on the scientific endeavor. The Bible says the universe is from a singularity to no, it doesn't. And again, you can say all you want. There's a lot of those religions have an instinctive, uh, um, an instinctive or kind of an instinctive idea of the Big Bang. It's easy to make that correlation. It's like, oh yeah, there was light one day and then there wasn't. No, it's like no, there's a million ways you can debunk that. But the Yazidi, for instance, conceive of the universe starting from a big egg, which then just opened and the universe blew up and expanded. It's very, very, very seems intuitive of the Big Bang somehow. And I think that's um, it's a natural coincidence to think that everything started from a small point and exploded outward. That to me, that would be a natural evolution of ideas to think of how we may have come to be of all the myths that have ever been invented. That so it's interesting. I think it's very fascinating that people have this intuition and create a religion that seems to reflect what we've learned as fact later. But people are like, and the Bible says, and the Bible also says that the moon has its own light, and we know it doesn't. Um, it's silly to try to fix that. And the Quran's the same way. People are like, yeah, Muhammad described the fetus. I got to that point. Part of the Quran. It's like literally repeated twice. It's like in two sentences of somebody who obviously had like already at 600 AD. People had already taken apart pregnant dead women and examined the the process of the fetus growing at different stages of pregnancy. So we knew that there was a clump of cells, and then there was a little piece of flesh, and then there was some bones, and then there was it's like, come on, man, this is like magic. No, I mean, they knew what they knew, and they did their best to explain it. Aviation guy, that's for you, buddy. Thanks for asking, man. Thanks for being here. After leaving Catholicism, I fell back to deism. Is this just a crutch? I think it's just a relic of your indoctrination. I think it's hard to get over that. It's that concept. But at least at least you can defend it philosophically. There's no evidence that God interacts with us. So if you want to believe that something created all of this, but there's no evidence that anything created the universe. There's nothing to say that. There's nothing to point to that at all. So to me, it's like, why? But I think that it's not a crutch necessarily. Because if you're really a deist, you're not worried that you need to jump through hoops for that God to pass you on to heaven. So unless you're using it for that comfort replacement that Catholicism had for you, then no, I don't think that's a crutch necessarily. I do think it's probably an unavoidable aspect of your indoctrination, where at some point it's hard for you to conceive of a universe that doesn't have a creator. They made it in front of the branches, and they bore young, streaked or spotted. Who's that? We've been clever humans for a while. Clever energy to hold knowledge for power. Yeah, for real, we have. Thank you. For real. I'm saying that the thermodynamics said that there has to be something before gravity. See that before the singularity. See that you don't know any of that. That's conjecture at this point, because there is no before. There was no time. So the phrase before the singularity doesn't make sense, because there was no space time. So to even phrase it in that way is mistaken. There was no time until after the Big Bang. So there was no before the Big Bang. From all we can really tell, there's no evidence that the Big Bang was never not there. We know the singularity may have been there eternally, So they're still trying to quantum gravity is fucking. They're really trying to figure that out. It's not, preaching the truth is unless you're a cosmologist or your opinion on this doesn't really mean much more than your youth pastor trying to debunk evolution, because he doesn't want it to be real. So thanks for being cool. I'm not trying to be a dick to you, because we appreciate believers who come on and want to actually talk. South side of Fort Worth, what's up, Frodo Baggins? Yeah, I have zero clue how it all started, but that doesn't give me permission to claim some Sky Fairy did. Yeah, Marshall. I mean, that's one for you, Marshall, out of 06. It gives them permission to believe it, though. You know what I mean? They can believe what they want, but it doesn't give them permission to claim it's true. That's for fucking sure, my friend. RNs haven't gotten the credit they deserve for this whole pandemic. How so, Frodo? Did they cause it, or you're saying they haven't gotten the credit they deserve for working hard? Preaching the truth, knows what he's talking about. Yeah. Yeah. You think Jesus, who's based on earlier myths, um, is the true God. So, yeah. Frodo lives. He does. Heck, Albert Einstein, he figured out. No, he didn't. There's a lot of problems with Einsteinian physics as we're figuring out through quantum discoveries. Einstein's whole, the fudge factor of relativity is really just because you need to make up a number to figure out. It's all about the math. You need to make a number to figure out, a constant that makes all of that shit go together. I'm the wrong guy to ask about it because I'm not a quantum physicist, but I'm not a preacher pretending I know more about science than scientists. That's for sure. God means to know self, love self, and reflect outwardly. There, I defined God finally. Yeah, you defined it for you, and that's perfectly valid. Nikki Louise Drummond, there you go. If that's what you want to call God, that works for you, then welcome to it. That idea is just as valid as the Christian myth arc. That's for sure. Yeah, Morty. No, the collapsing. Actually, if you listen to the last podcast, the collapsing theory doesn't hold any weight. That's not in fashion as even a possibility anymore. The universe does not have enough mass in it for the gravity to slow down the expansion that continues to increase. So the collapsing thing, and that used to be a thing. Like, oh, easy, it collapses. It's not going to happen. In fact, current theory is that the universe will tear itself apart. It'll continue to expand to the point where there will be no gravity between anything, and all of the particles that we have already discovered will tear themselves apart, and it'll enter a new phase. Likely, this is where people don't get their mind around. All we can do is perceive how we perceive the universe in our limited three-dimensional way. What people like this guy's calling before the Big Bang is not before in any sense of the word that we know it, but it might be a complete phase shift or a multiverse or a different reality, one that was simply a dimension that we can't perceive, and we're not wired to get our heads around it. That's just the way it goes. And we may never be. But it'd be like, oh, there's a magic God behind it. There has to be. It's just weak thinking, it really is. Fact, atheist Venezuela is successful because their leadership only believe in the Big Bang creation. Well, that's the Big Bang is the law in physics. It's until somebody shows some reason why they shouldn't accept what is really the most evidentially true theory that's ever been posited. Math fits the fucking model perfectly. The actual evidence for the Big Bang fits the theoretical model more perfectly than anything that's ever been studied. That was one of the things that I learned. It's really fascinating to me. Anything ever, it's not going to change. It's not a thing. All right, that's where we're at with that. Thank you, Firecracker, for being here. I love you so much. Look at you. Look how gorgeous. Yeah, you keep in touch, and we'll figure out how to get you elected president. And let's work on that. Take it easy. Thanks for hanging out. The fleas on the dog can't conceive of the dog. It's pretty true. Not in Virginia. Good metaphor, man. I like that. I wonder how on a universal perspective, quantum foam it holds the smallest part of the atom. I wonder how quantum foam. That's what I'm going to be for Halloween next year. Quantum foam. I don't really know what that means, my friend. Dimensions are just states of consciousness, maybe. That's a good theory. You should write a paper on that. Hello, Yaman. What's up? Didn't see you there, my friend. I'm scrolling back here to see what I missed. Maybe I'm wrong, with the majority of anti-vaxxers are Christians. Well, I think so, because America is majority Christian, so I don't think that it could avoid being that way. But I think I mean, I know what you're saying. There's a correlative effect there, and yeah, I think that a lot of evangelicals are the evangelicals. Christians are the least vaccinated, I want to say, and atheists are the most vaccinated. So yeah, there's definitely a correlation there. I'm still reading backwards through these comments here to see who I missed. So sorry about that. Dead space, you guys. I'm going to blast off in a couple of more minutes. We got 5 more minutes left. I'm going to blast off at 12 noon. Appreciate you guys being here. Really, really do. It's nice to be back, man. A little holiday break off on Sunday, and I was back with it on Wednesday. But if it snows here, I'm going to miss the Sunday. That's the thing. It fucking snowed last Sunday, so I couldn't be on here Sunday. But we do this every Sunday morning. Otherwise, at 10:30 in the Central Zone here. We are in gorgeous Kenosha, Wisconsin, home of police who shoot first, ask questions later, and playground for people who want to come here and be vigilantes and just shoot whoever they want and get away with it and become right-wing fucking celebrities. Talk about a charmed life when you pull shit like that. The Duggars are part of the Quizful movement. Quizful? Quizerful movement? I don't know what that means. Extremely militant Southern Baptist type people. Yeah, it's crazy shit, man. I can't even watch that stuff. The fucking Duggars, man, making 20 new freaks like that, and then to watch them turn into the kind of like assholes that is it Josh that's doing this thing. Thanks for the spider web. I love the spider webs, man. That's an awesome one. And our makers could be an advanced version of us. Oh, and our makers could be an advanced version of us, and we are a lesser species. Yeah, I mean, none of that says God to me. If you've got those kind of like alien style, concepts of the creator, then why is that a God? That's not someone who's going to give a fuck. Do I demand worship from the terrarium or the fish in the aquarium that I built? I liken it to that. If a terraforming alien wouldn't give a fuck what the fucking germs on the fucking back of the flea of the dog are doing. A quiver full. There you go. Thank you. That makes sense. Rika. I do feel we are the imperfect lesser species, though, that are learning our way to catch up to our the aliens who seeded us. We're just an animal, a highly evolved animal, and hopefully we can last long enough to evolve further. But I don't have a lot of faith in that anymore. They're really doing what they can to fucking ruin this heaven that we have been given here on this planet, on the blue marble. I mean, who knows? They have time machines. Who does? Why can't my higher power be a better version of myself? I can. Why not, man? We are in the 6th extinction. There's a doomsday prediction. The 6th extinction. We shall be a part of it. Well, at least we get to party, right? If it all ends, we're part of the 6th extinction. At least we made it, right? At least we got to have our time. At least we partied. And you can keep partying until the actual extinction happens. So I'm an optimist too, and I get a sad feeling that at least in the U.S., we're the Big Blue Marble. Who remembers the Big Blue Marble? Are you old enough to remember that show? We were kids in the '70s. There was a TV show on Saturday morning, or maybe Sunday morning, called Big Blue Marble. That highlighted culture from around the world. Very kind of a forward-thinking kids show. But that was the day when science and discovery and learning about other cultures was cool, not just taking them over and raping their land for oil and trying to get them to speak it in English and learn and love Jesus when they have their own friggin' perfectly fine deities and belief systems. Yeah, thanks for being here. Join us on excuse me, Instagram and YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and get some gear at Atheist Underground Gear at Cafe Press, cafepress.com/Atheist Underground Gear. And I'll try to get on there and liven it up and add some more shit for you guys. I'm gonna